5 things you need to know about marketing this week. My name is Roger Gallegos. I'm the founder and CEO of Beacon Marketing. This week, we're going to be talking about how to set up a plan for you to review your marketing efforts. This is important because you want to understand what is and isn't working with your marketing efforts. If you're familiar with any of our beliefs and have seen any of our videos, then you understand here at Beacon Marketing, we put a premium on developing a marketing strategy. That is the beginning, that is the genesis of your, or should be the genesis of your marketing efforts. So if you go through that work of laying that foundation for how you're going to go forth and promote yourself and your business, you should in your mind have a process or be thinking about how are you going to evaluate your marketing efforts? What are you going to do to judge how things are going? Because we don't believe it. We don't think that there is any set and forget it options, meaning you don't just start marketing and saying, hey, all's going to be grand and everything's going to work automatically. No one bats 1,000 in baseball. No one bats 1,000 when it comes to marketing. So you have to understand where improvements can be made. And the only way to do that is to actually take the time out and understand how things are going, what's working, what's not working, where can improvements be made. And because, especially if you're a small or medium-sized business owner, things get so busy, things get so hectic, the best way to do is to actually plan for it. Create a plan so when it comes time to do your review, you actually have a process in place. You're not putting it out of whole cloth. You're able to just say, okay, we're going to do it on this date. Here it goes. And you already are halfway to that plan, in my opinion, is half of the process. So if you set that plan forth and everything, if you set that plan in place and when you move forth with it, everything else becomes elementary, in my opinion. So we're going to talk about that today. So first and foremost, you want to determine the start date. What I mean by that, let's say you develop a strategy and let's say you begin at the beginning of a month. So let's just say April. You say April 1st, we are going to start our new marketing efforts. So pick a date in the future, whether it's 6 to 8 weeks. I say that is around the time. So maybe mid-May or at the beginning of June, June 1st, we are going to pick that day to look back to evaluate where are we at in terms of increasing our email followers and doing all these things that we are planning to set forth. So you want to pick that start date. And the second thing you want to do as part of this first step is pick your intervals. So we're going to start on June 1st, but from there on, we're going to do it every 6 weeks. And that will help you understand this is when we're going to start, and this is when we're going to actually do the reviews moving forth. And it'll just help you cement that process that I referenced earlier. So the second step, first step is determine the start date. Second step is determine what KPIs you want to focus on. Now, KPIs are key performance indicators. Now, I'm actually in the blog this week. I actually wrote about what I believe are some of the most important KPIs for website, email marketing, and social media. So I'll include a link to that in the description below, so you can check that blog out. But the KPIs, you want to understand this is how we're gonna judge our marketing efforts on, and it could be changed over time. So maybe your initial goals, you just want to get something started. So you want to say, how many email followers are we getting in the first 6 to 8 weeks? How many new social media followers? How many people are we getting to the website? And then maybe over time you say, okay, we're going to evaluate how many new signups or how many open and click-through rates for emails. So this could change over time, particularly if you're starting from scratch, but just make sure you put down the KPIs, those things that you're going to judge. That way, when you are ready to sit down, you already have an idea of what you're looking for. It's not that you shut everything else out, but you're going to sit there and say, all right, these are the goals that we had set for this period of time. Let's see where we're at in those goals, in terms of meeting those goals, because then that will tell you if things are going good and if things are happening. You can say, okay, let's keep the course. We're doing good. Keep doing what we're doing. Or if you're really behind, you can say, we need to readjust things a little bit. We need to tweak, or we may just need to to do everything over again because things are going that badly, wherever it may be. Hopefully they're going good at that point. So second step, detail what KPIs you want to focus on. The third is make the data easily accessible. What I mean by that is look at, if possible, if you have the ability, sign up for a service. There's different services. One dashboard I like is a dashboard called Sife. It pulls in all the information you want from websites and from social media, and they actually send you reports. You could do the same, and you could sit there and try to create reports elsewhere. But what you want to be able to do, if possible, have the information downloaded or sent directly to you. So when you sit down to actually review the numbers and analyze things, you have the data in front of you, because you don't want to have to spend 2, 3, 4 hours actually hunting the numbers. You want it right in front of you. That way you could just be effective. So this will probably take some time at the beginning to set up, but if you set it up at the beginning, that's less work that you have to do later. And then you actually could set up that process to, if you want to change the reports that you get or update them, you could do that because you already have that process in place. It makes it much easier. So the third thing is make the data easily accessible. It will help you in the long run. The fourth step is communicate with your team. As I stated in previous videos, when you set your strategy and when you work it, you can't do this all by yourself. So you most likely are working with a team. Communicate with your team, even if it's an outside people. Try to get them to come to the review process, even if it's just their first review. You try to get them to come, and if they're not able to come, at least send them your findings and what you're seeing. That way they could have a chance to communicate with you, provide their input, and you can make a more well-rounded decision based off the numbers that you're seeing and the feedback that you're getting from your team. If you just try to sit there and do it all by yourself, it's going to get low. First of all, it's going to get lonely, and you may get lost, and you may see things that don't make sense. You may take some numbers out of context. So you really want to communicate with your team. It's one of the most important steps that you could do. So that's it. Communicate with you. That's number 4. And the fifth step, and this kind of ties back to the first step, is you actually want to schedule time on your calendar. And what I mean by that is, remember at the beginning I said, if you're going to start on April 1st and you're going to pick June 1st to start your review, actually go into your calendar and say, June 1st from this time to this time, I'm going to block it off and I'm going to review our marketing efforts. Because here's what happens. If you don't block that time off, other things will fill it. You know how it is as a business owner. Your time kind of is like an aquarium. It fills up with different things, even if you don't mean to. So when it comes to reviewing it, you have to actually go to your calendar, whether you use a paper calendar or a digital one, and block out the time and say, for this time, I am busy. No other things. And that shows that you're making a priority and that it's going to be something that you're going to focus on. And a lot of times it's more for your own good than the rest of your team or anybody who else may have access to your calendar. You're claiming that territory for yourself and for your business. The other thing I will say about this is these things will probably change from business to business. So these steps may not all apply to you, or you may say, well, what about this? What about that? If you have any questions, please feel free to holler at me and let me know. So the 5 steps to setting up a plan, we'll recap them real quick. Determine start date, detail what KPIs you want to focus on, make the data easily accessible, communicate with your team, and schedule time in your calendar to actually get it done. And that's for the first one, and any subsequent intervals you want to do that first day. And then if you're going to do it every 6 weeks, go on your calendar and pick block those dates off so you know what you're going to do. And another kind of bonus one, maybe detail any changes that you decide to make so you can keep track of it. It's a log that could probably go under communicating with your team. So that's it for me today. As I said, let me know what you think about this. If you have any questions, let me know. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Please do. Looking forward to hearing back from you. I will include the link to the blog for this that goes along with this video in the description below, so keep an eye out for that. As always, I'm offering free 30-minute discovery session, $97 value. It'll help you understand where you're at with your marketing and how you can improve. After the only caveat is it's only 10. I only offer to the first 10. After that, I charge the $97. So reserve your spot for this month ASAP. Lastly, I send out a weekly newsletter every Monday afternoon, 1 p.m. Mountain. Some really good information for the week to help you think and focus on your marketing a little bit. Good, useful information. I don't believe in spam, so you don't have to worry about that, but I'll include a link so you can sign up for that if you're not already signed up. That's it for me today. So next week, I'll be back talking about target audience. But as for me, again, Roger Gallegos. This has been Beacon Marketing's Weekly 5 things you need to know about marketing. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. See you next week. Thank you. Bye.